Hey there, Taylor Elwood here, and today I thought I would talk a bit about some experiments and work I've been doing around sound and chanting. Um, Really, for this one, I'm going to talk a little bit about the difference between chanting that you encounter in different contexts, because I've learned some different chants for both, from both Eastern and Western practices, and I would say that there are a few things that are distinctly different. Like in Western ceremonial magic practices, the chants that I've typically learned have been really about memorizing words. But you do have some sounds, like I have, for example, a chant that I do with like the vowels. E-I-O-A-U. And that's where I see where you have like a very sonorous sound with the chanting around the vowels, as opposed to something where I'm chanting something that I've remembered, such as align yourself to the directions sky above, land below, and to the directions east, south, west, and north, and to the center. Where there I'm chanting it, but it's not musical per se. It's just more spoken chant. Um, but both have their places in Western ceremonial practices. And what I find is that with the sonorous chant that I did, the vowel one, it's done as a way where the sounds represent distinct elemental energies or distinct energies for that you're connecting with, like a deity or something like that. I've actually done something similar where I'll recite the name of a spirit over and over again, and use that as a way to connect with the spirit. And again, that tends to be a bit more sonorous because I'm using just the name of the spirit. Whereas I find with the actual chant, what ends up happening is that, like if I'm memorizing a lot of words, it's more spoken chant, it's not sung. I mean, I guess you could sing it, but I find that in terms of effectiveness for me, that it's really, the purpose of that kind of chant isn't necessarily about singing it, it is about using it to connect with the powers that you're connecting with, but also setting up the space for those powers. It's kind of an interesting thing because really when you look at it, you have a different context for why you're doing something. If I do the E-I-O-A-U, what am I doing? I'm connecting to the elements, the elemental energies in this particular case, and resonating, creating a resonance with them and using that as a way to bring them into the space. Whereas if I'm saying something like, align yourself to the directions sky above, land below, and to the directions east, south, west, north, and to the center, what I'm doing is I am establishing a specific space where I'm establishing the context of that space that I'm in. I'm aligning myself, I'm instructing myself. There's kind of a similar process there, but it is a little bit different. Neither is necessarily better or worse, and in fact you'll find that you use combinations. In fact, both chants that I did are a combination of a Western ceremonial magical tradition where they are used together. So, it's not one of those cases where it's like, oh, you got to use one or the other. No, they can be used in conjunction. It's just that the function of those chants is a bit different. Now let's contrast this to, say, chants from Dzogchen, which is Tibetan Buddhist meditation practices. In there, you might recite a chant over and over again, but you're using it for the purposes of attuning the energy of your body. So for example, if I go with ah, 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 the purpose of that is that I'm in this case using it to basically work with the energy in my head, with the crown chakra, I suppose you could say, if you want to use chakras, in this case, the chakra and the third eye. Although really with Dzogchen it's a little bit different, so I should clarify that. but the point is that in similar Eastern practices, you do have that. But with Doshin, in any case, what you end up having is you're using the sound to basically open up and align the energy of your body, and depending on where that sound is and what it sounds like, it moves to different parts of the body. So if we go to the next one, we did ah, and then we go to ram, 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 and then we're going down to the throat, and then hoon is on the heart, hoon, hoon, and so on and so forth. It's one of those cases where what's actually happening is that the energy of the body is being aligned in a very specific way in order to achieve a specific outcome. In this case, to connect with, to basically set yourself up for stillness meditation, where after you use those sounds, you've basically cleared everything out of your mind and your body, and you've opened yourself up to working with stillness and just being still. And so it's kind of a different purpose. You know, what I find interesting about it in terms of differences as well is that in this particular case you're associating sounds with specific parts of the body, whereas I don't really see that in Western ceremonial practices per se. So I think it's kind of an interesting distinction at that point. Again, neither one is necessarily better or worse. They are just ways to connect with the world around you and connect with the spirits and connect with yourself. The real reason we use chanting is because chanting is a way to work with the body and to work with the powers that we're working with. I think that the voice is one of the most underused tools in a person's magical repertoire, and it's worth learning more about it. I'm in the process, I've been learning these practices, and I'm in the process of beginning to formulate some stuff that I'm going to be working on over the next few years around space-time magic and sound, which will be really fun and interesting. It's going to be using some of these techniques as well as some other things in order to help me do that work. That's kind of part of the evolution of the space-time magic practice that I've been involved in. So in any case, I just thought I would do this video and share kind of some thoughts around chanting and some differences that I've noticed in the various practices that I've been learning, and also just because I thought it would be cool to do something on a different topic that, you know, people don't necessarily talk about all the time or focus on. So have a wonderful day, and talk to you later.